true. Anybody who tells you say NPP ebe good banks, the person is peddling falsehood. It is not true. Honorable, respectfully, banks, the 7 banks were consolidated into the Consolidated Bank of Ghana. Over the Sovereign Bank, Beige Bank, the Premium Bank, the Royal Bank, the Heritage Bank, the Construction Bank, and Unibank. They are buying here and say your caps our banks see bomu and you're consolidating as one bank. Engine and depositors are no musika that Premium Bank. No say some mobile demonstration say your consolidated banks and almost and come musika. Engine and depositors are no musika. Our Unibank, the Sovereign Bank, Royal Bank. One thing that say omoka say abina for musika and I said they have lost their money due to the consolidation of the banks. And so the banks technically were not collapsed. They were consolidated. There is a difference between a bank collapsing or a bank winding up and consolidating the assets and liabilities of other companies as well. And I say a merger. Now, Bank Bakope and a 4D app. And look at the 4D app. It was on one casa voluntary 4D app. That is the Baroda Bank. It was they were just willing to fold up. Now, over the other banks, UT Bank, Capital Banker, their leadership were taken over by the Ghana Commercial Bank. Enti in Akuffo-Addo musika da UT Bank. And then omoko GCB Banker, omosaka musika. In Akuffo-Addo musika da Capital Bank, omoko GCB Banker, omosaka musika. Okay. And other banks say, other banks they say First Atlantic Merchant Bank, Energy Commercial Bank, they also consolidated to form other. They also merged with other banks. Into Jacob now, it is inaccurate. And again, 21 billion. The 21 billion was used as
26. The last official record I saw was 26.
In fact, they even went ahead to about 34. 34. I even saw a report in August 24. I called 34. That's fine. Sasikano, Sika Yedikoku Bank. If Honorable says that Honorable is not being, I don't want to say
what is that money?
But that money, to the best of my understanding, to the reports I have cited, were monies that also went into the recapitalization. What's the banks now? And they say, you can dispute me.
Recapitalization, what does it mean? Good.
Recapitalization to say, now we are, just now we are, for instance, UMB Bank. Now, I think it's a Bank of Ghana for here, and now, na Bank of Ghana bought Muniska. No more fan recapitalizing. So that was the same thing that was done. But so because you use says Sikano, Eco Banker. Quite bad. So and you say Sikano, Eco Bank. That is the fundamental question we should ask ourselves.
The name say Abani can say, Abani can say. A car na you bet you made until I be so Casa recapitalization. What does it mean?
Right.
Saying 9 billion CDS, you bet me at the recapitalize our banks in Nina.
No more Kosoye.
Until I didn't see 9 billion, no, young fine yet, Alpha, and yet answer my ceremony. Not the bank. Woman, I know would have been winning as a bank of manager. So honorable, bank manager. No, he's asking a very good question. Now, 9 billion said so much more Mujinano. That's about seeing na Ejinayo Majumano. Yanye. Namono Yade sa 21 billion Ghana citizens. I call recapitalization. I walk on one seminal. Yade capitalize a bank bank.
Jacob na remember one critical example. Bank back why a man is cast on year recapitalization was Unibank. Tama government of the day, Bank of Ghana, who say or one who are there conform now. KPMG report in 2019, and I have a copy of the report here. The KPMG report in 2019 clearly showed, say, Sikana Yedema Unibank, so Mofanko recapitalization. Sikano didn't actually go into recapitalization. This is KPMG speaking. And KPMG for actually chair their Unibank for any recapitalization. Sikano. Because you see, Oma Bank is recapitalization. It is still the managers of the bank and the managing the recapitalization fund.
They are not because so young Mamtia. Now, you had the 9 billion, the between us, and they could do 21 billion.
Jacob na say unim say Jacob
9 billion the best adwuma no and they could do 21 billion. It is a difference na ewo ho about 12 billion. And no yede ekọ hi.
Jacob na once a banking sector cleanup ne was a process. First, they started with some banks. And amabobo banks ni be actual. And later, the banks ni be ebe count. After Bank of Ghana 4 years or more crackdown, or more niama. Banks ni be count. So I suppose they are 9 billion now quoting. I don't know where you are quoting from sincerely.
It was a report.
9 billion now. And I make us say, Pacho Mama Nusi, 9 billion now quoting. It was for some specific banks. But 34 billion now, you can 17, and now 20 something billion now, or now we can 17. Was the total figure at the end of the day na core into the entire, to the best of my understanding, recapitalization. A refreshing say Ndra yet say Ghana nyamia daroma yetimi a free IMF financing program nase. I think say welcomed. So far yenia so acknowledge say under the program yetimi making some substantial gains. And also you're welcome. So far, yetimi stabilize a few things, inflation near there. Ninia you're welcomed. But you see, some my niya kanya niya new BIA adjoin say you're making some gains under the program now. Vindicates the fact that the program design and architecture was a very perfect one. And the program design and architecture no September 2022 under the previous government. And the program design and architecture and the negotiation of the program Emma Ghana for Echo or Yaobimu. It is a free exit. And I say, the first thing me pese mekanise Ghana for idea because we share the program exit and architecture ne ama stabilization any idea. One of the painful enyama you go through as a result of the 2022 IMF program the DDP program, the domestic debt exchange program. Yinim how na domestic debt exchange program no nesi yafa. But Ghana for show resilience. Ghana for be na the government of the day no anya doing. And I'm sure say Ghana for be so me be ya say DDP President Akuffo-Addo aban year in 2022 through to 2024 and abc say no one of the reasons why in you call 2024 elections NPP as a political party intiman succeeded because it was a very painful decision. The external debt restructuring under the G20 framework and also aboa ama yeba bedru baby a yedru ene enti say ne ye ka say because of the IMF program, it may gain some achievement. I think, say largely, it is due to the architecture and the foundation of the program or the program designer, the previous regime. You call the next leg of the conversation regarding the policy coordination instrument, and so I think the policy coordination instrument now IMF they Ghana buying Asha for the next 36 months. That is the next 3 years now. Clearly, and not just say IMF still now is going to monitor the policy decisions of the government. They are buying biano IMF no be monitor. Send ye beya gains are yenya yen lose gains and I say yen go back to baby ye frintia ye call IMF the IMF is still going to monitor the policy decisions of the government of the day. And in my humble opinion, I mean, the Mrs. say policy coordination na IMF ede Ghana Asha Asiano points to the fact that na IMF for no only confidence with the managers of the economy.
Was it a choice?
Let me person be say. I am a phone almost say one more no French man. I see any su say so more why a bit to me. I say a friend only in a tenancy who say I did almost more up to the but you're only among technical advice a bit to me.
Jacob, now the fundamental point is that the policy coordination instrument of every country if we the IMF financing program as an mandatory. That is the fundamental point. However, there are countries one casano almost say if they are left on their own, certain decisions or mobile making, a bit might destroy gains now. Time or share IMF aseno or munyaye. And I'll go with the same example. Policy analyst now, di kind nene kasa ena ma say. I said that why ya towa or admission or hospital ye you are befie. Ye you are befie no. Ye be ma doctor bi aba be hwe but then say doctor ni who say fie na waba no. Wan kasa no ebia o lifestyle bi anase ye jawo kakra wonum ya ode ye se man wiki bab abekwa ko wiki bab ni ade na doctor ni betima ye na adwen say oh ye say ebia ohuato de na mum for the next 1 year or 2 years ne de ye do beto monitoring so anase supervision so in my layman perspective or understanding that is what the policy coordination instrument basically means. And you know, say okay say pair, then it is up to you. But for the greater good and to ensure say stabilization now we nyan and as against now we nyan obetima sustain no. E ne kwan so say obeje say policy coordination instrument na tum. Inti ni church more to my understanding and no. And that's what I'm saying say it is a vote of no confidence in the managers of the economy.
But if it's a choice,
because if the managers of the economy
communicating for MPP,
if the managers of the
difficult
the managers of the economy no the confidence say omo hear the monitoring of the IMF, omo hear the supervision of the IMF, omo hear what we describe as the technical assistance of the IMF, they wouldn't have agreed with the IMF say IMF won embe monitor policy decisions. They wouldn't have, because GDA say one kasa no very good managers of economy no one kasa the clear economic knowledge and economic path omo pese omo to say they are going to make the right policy decisions for the country. The nation would not need any monitoring or any supervision or any technical assistance from the IMF. And that is what I'm saying. Say the policy coordination instrument, the monitoring from the IMF, the supervision from the IMF, the technical assistance from the IMF clearly points to the angle. Say there's a vote of no confidence in the managers of the economy.
By who?
By who? Oh, by the IMF. By the IMF. And in fact, managers of the economy nankasa so no mankasa so ni omo need confidence in themselves say without the monitoring and the supervision and the direction of the IMF no they can sustain gains na yenya under the financing program until they agreed for the IMF to monitor their policy decisions. That is my opinion.